It's about the restoration of our republic. We want to educate, encourage, enable the power. We stand for integrity, honesty, self-reliance, self-defense, and most importantly, no compromise on our foundational principles. This is America's Voice Now.
Find America's Voice Now on Facebook and at americasvoicenow.org. Here's Michael Evans.
Good morning, America. You're listening to America's Voice Now. We're in our third segment out of 4. You know, John McCain, who is so far outside the boundaries of his political arena that his own party has actually censured him, showed up the other day and said to the GOP, the Republicans, don't shut down government. He's urging the House Republicans not to shut down the federal government over the upcoming budget battle. Now, he says, I hope my colleagues in the House who believe we need to shut down the government will understand that that's not what the American people want. They hate government, but they don't want it to stop functioning. Let me clarify and correct you, Mr. McCain, on a couple of points. First of all, we do hate government. And we don't hate government as a concept. We hate government as an application. And we hate the government that you and your lackeys and the ilk around you have created. We don't want to stop it functioning. We just want to stop it functioning under your direction. And that is what the American people want. What we want is the end of tyrants and elitists and sycophants like you. What we want is a government that operates for our best interest, not our oppression. What we want is to live in peace and security, but liberty, with freedom as our daily rally. We don't want your spying. We don't want you to be dictating the rules to us about what kind of seatbelt we should wear and what kind of food we should have and who we should sleep with and who we shouldn't. We don't want you to tell us whether or not it's okay for us to eat Monsanto's poison food. We don't want you to dictate rules to us about what the EPA can steal from us. We don't want you to send us into war so that you can receive $180,000 in bribes from the military-industrial complex just prior to your vote. See, that to me tells me, and I mean, I'm just going out on a limb here, Mr. McCain, but that tells me you don't really have our best interest at heart. You are more interested in what will achieve your goals. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if you've received $180,000, the most, by the way, of any senator who sits on the Senate Armed Services Committee, as a bribe, just before the vote, I have to question your impartiality. I mean, I don't want to sound as if I'm a doubting Thomas here, Mr. McCain, but of late, you appear to be fighting for those principles which the rest of us, the true American patriots, the real individuals who live every day in this country, not off the fat of taxpayers, but off of our own hard work and our own labor, you appear to stand against all those things that we look for, that we hope for, that we desire. I mean, we want to see the border sealed before you pass any immigration rule. We want to see those people who clarify and say that they're illegal here, or don't say, and live in the shadows. We want them, after the border is sealed, to come forth and say, I'm here, I'm registering, I want to be a citizen, and I'm willing to do what it takes to achieve that end. You, however, want to leave our borders vacuously empty and porous. You are the reason why 2,837 sex offenders were released back into our communities. And the blood of those innocents, and quite frankly, the putrid, disgusting ejection of those sex offenders is on your hands. You, sir, are a traitor. You're nothing more, and you're nothing less. You, who apparently are still living and breathing on the reputation of a man who lived and survived in a camp in Vietnam, have apparently lost all memory of whatever it was that you utilized to get you through every day in that torture chamber. Because you're the guy who's out there creating a framework and an infrastructure that will allow the rest of us to be treated just like you were. You agree and support and defend the most unconscionable behavior, the most unconscionable actions, policies, rules, regulations, and laws that this administration can muster. And, you know, it's beyond my understanding and my comprehension how you can believe that that's an acceptable practice. Your own party rejects you. The citizens at the town halls that you attend declare you to be an open violator of their wishes. That tells me you're not a representative for your state or your citizenry. You're a representative of government. And you have joined the us versus them crowd. You have become the them that we fear and despise. And yes, sir, it is us versus them. We are in a war for our very lives. You'll be long dead and gone. I mean, you're 80-something. And you'll be long dead and gone before the fruits of your treason are plucked and fed to the American people. But mark my words and make no mistake about it, that fruit will live on. Those trees of tyranny will continue to blossom and bloom and bear fruit for generations and generations. You are an absolutely reprehensible human being. I mean, I don't know how you sleep at night, sir. You support all those things which your party alleges are indefensible. You're a warmonger. You want to go to war over 1,400 people that were killed. Well, with all due respect, how about trying to change the gun laws that allow 1,400 people a year to be killed in Chicago? The truth of the matter is, you're not interested in what's good for us. You're interested in what's good for you. And I don't know what kind of a legacy you think you're building. I mean, I don't know what you think you're going to be written up like in the history books. Because somewhere, somehow, sometime in the future, that's the us part of the us versus them, we will be successful. Because humans want, prescribe, and live for freedom. Not just here in the United States, across the globe. We all want it. And at some point, somewhere down the road, somebody's going to be able to write the true history of this thing. And man, your name is just going to come off in all the wrong ways. They're going to tell the truth about you. They're going to expose you for the fraud. They're going to unveil the stinking smell of corruption and death that emanates off of you like an aura. If the government were to shut down, the truth of the matter is, I think most Americans would probably think that's not such a bad thing. You urge the House not to shut down the federal government. You mean the same government that beats us mercilessly with taxation, that lies to us, that surveils us and monitors us, that cheats us? The same government that sends our young men off to bleed on foreign shores? Is that the same government we're talking about here? Because, I mean, maybe I'm just a little confused. You mean the same government that wants to take our young men and send them off to find nebulous and, for all intents and purposes, now well-hidden weapons of mass destruction in a foreign land which has no bearing on our nation whatsoever? You mean you want to send our young men off to fight in a nation which will only enrage our enemies more? Is that what you meant? You're the guy who supports all those things which we stand against. And how you call yourself a conservative is very clearly apparent. Because what you mean by that term is to conserve that which is everything wrong with America. I don't call myself a conservative. I call myself a patriot. And the reason I call myself a patriot is because I don't want to conserve that which you have given. I want to destroy that which you have given us. Slavery, debt, racism, violation, oppression, taxation, a porous border that allows literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of murderers, rapists, thieves, and scum into our country. You who sit on the border of live on a state that sits on the border that is probably one of the most affected by that same issue, you have completely abdicated any level of responsibility you have to your own state. You're the poster child for why the 17th Amendment should be repealed. You know, you dance to the strings of your financial, perpetual war masters. And you have absolutely no problem dragging us into that nonsense. I've heard you sit at a town hall meeting and yell at people, my son serves in the... Let me tell you something. Your boy don't serve in the military like my boy did. Your boy went to a war college and was treated to the very best that the military could offer. Your boy wasn't walking around in Afghanistan and Iraq kicking over buckets looking for IEDs. Mr. McCain. Your boy didn't have to do what most American boys do. He didn't come home missing a piece of his body or a piece of his mind because your boy had it in posh luxury. Don't try to define it otherwise. Don't even try to defend him or yourself. We're not buying it. The truth of the matter is, you of all people should know what America's youth is worth and why our treasure should never be squandered, why we should never throw our pearls before swine. I knew in 2008 that you were the wrong guy for the job. The truth of the matter is, I would love nothing more than to see this federal government shut down. My only concern with shutting it down would be that we'd have to have some mechanism in place to make sure that those seniors who are relying on their Social Security and our military is paid. But outside of that, quite frankly, I couldn't give a rat's rear end if the rest of you fall off the face of the planet. If gravity stopped functioning today and Washington got lifted off the face of the earth and fell off into space, we'd all be a whole lot better off. You operate as an insider. No one in this country likes you. You have zero support. And you know you're running in your last election because you keep hinting at it. You know that you're not going to run again. And so here you are with a scorched earth mentality that you are going to do as much damage to this nation as you can before you leave. It's unbelievable. You're unbelievable. I watched you angrily cut off and talk to your own constituents in town hall after town hall. I watched a number of your recordings, sir. You're a shameless charlatan. And when you're confronted with the truth, you actually have the nerve to get angry with those people for pointing it out. The simple truth, Mr. McCain, is that most Americans couldn't muster the desire to piss on you if you were on fire. You've been pissing on us for years. You're a charlatan. You're a shameless whore. You're a whore for your special interests. The $180,000 you took in lobbying money. Yeah, that dedication and donation to your campaign fund. The one you're not going to use? Yeah, that one. The one that allows you to take that money when you retire and spend it any way you choose for whatever purposes you like. Yeah, that campaign fund. I don't know how much money you think you need, McCain. But most of us could live like kings on what you got socked away. So why would you sell us down the highway? For another moment of glory? There's a special place somewhere on the other side for guys like you. There's a very, very hot and special place for people just like you. And you're going to be surrounded by so many others. I don't know how you call yourself an American. Don't shut down the government? We couldn't care less. The truth of the matter is, that would be the best thing that could happen. The whole damn thing just got shut down. Maybe then we could live in privacy. Maybe then we could figure out a real solution to our healthcare problem and not one that's designed by a tyrant to tighten the control of his hands around our throats. But I know you advocate that. You're the epitome of everything that is wrong with politics in America today. You're not even truthful to your own party. And I despise party politics, but you can't even muster that. Mr. McCain, you're no hero. You're a piece of... You're everything that's wrong with American politics. And you do this nation a favor by getting out of the system now. You're the thief in the dead of night who holds the key to the gates, who silently walks up and unlocks the gate to allow the enemy in. You make me sick. You're listening to America's Voice Now. I hope you heard that, Mr. McCain. Folks, you can find us at americasvoicenow.org. So can you, John. You can also find us at facebook.com/America's Voice Now. And lastly, you can find this and every other show on YouTube.